On this episode of Mythbusters,
Bring in the next baby.
There you go.
the team selects 6 of your ideas.
Strong like bull.
Yep, on this Request Fest special, every letter or email that gets pulled from the randomizer will get tested. And the myths to emerge will involve fuel bills, thrills, and spills.
The results from this are extremely surprising.
There'll be freezing
We're at the Mythbusters lab.
and sneezing,
I look like a vampire.
tuxedos and tantrums. So cover your mouth, buckle up, and find out if Lady Luck has picked you.
All right, it's party time.
Who are the Mythbusters? Adam Savage
Put something into it, man.
and Jamie Hyneman.
Is that hot enough for you?
Between them, more than 30 years of special effects experience. Joining them, Grant Imahara. I'm alive! Carrie Byron.
That is messed up!
And Tori Belleci.
Let's torch this thing!
They don't just tell the myths, they put them to the test. If you've ever sent in a myth request, get ready, because in this hour of viewer power, the tests are at your behest.
What's all this about?
This is the Mythbusters Request Fest. We have taken a random pile of fan submissions for stories we should do. We put them in this bin, and soon we will do whatever we draw out of here. You ready?
Yep.
All right. Pick one. What does it say?
Dear Mythbusters, can a super secret agent spy arrive at a fancy party via Scuba, unzip his dive suit, and emerge party ready in a spiffy tux? Spiffy. I've seen this several times and I want to know if it's possible. Your biggest fan, I can't read the signature.
That is a great story. I think we should totally do it.
Do I get to wear the tux?
Absolutely.
Okay then.
It's a classic cinematic costume conundrum. The super secret spy slips out of the water and unzips his dive suit, revealing an immaculate tuxedo. But can a scuba dive arrival really leave you high, dry, and ready to party?
So what do you think the plan is?
It's easy. One of us scuba dives to a party and the other one arrives by normal means.
And then when we get there, an impartial judge sees if both of our tuxes pass muster.
Exactly.
Okay, but first I think we need a lesson in proper tux etiquette from a pro.
As it happens, I have one right here. Hello, Bertrand.
Hello, Jamie.
Narrator, would you please tell the nice folks at home about Bertrand's credentials?
Image consultant, fashion author, and all-round style guru, Bertrand is the perfect person to get Adam and Jamie looking shipshape for their upcoming boat party.
And Adam, here's yours. Now, when it comes to black tie, it's really important that a tuxedo be absolutely perfect. Otherwise, you'll be mistaken for the head waiter. Also overlooked are the shoes, and really the standard is patent leather.
Apparently, patent leather is critical.
It's got to be a hand-tied bow tie. A clip-on tie just doesn't cut it. The hand-tied bow tie gives a man his individuality. Finally, the white handkerchief. Need to have the pocket square.
That's a pocket square, it's not a napkin, huh?
It is not a dinner napkin. So, Jamie, how do you feel?
I feel kind of tied up like a pot roast, actually.
Despite Jamie's discomfort, our dapper duo are now impeccably dressed.
There we go. I think we're a proper pair of penguins.
Yep. Thank you, Bertrand.
And for the myth to be confirmed, that's the standard that has to be maintained, regardless of their method of transport to the party. This penguin, providing a comparative baseline, will be traveling in comfort above water.
Perfect.
But Agent Hyneman, codenamed the Walrus, wearing state-of-the-art scuba gear over the top of his party gear, will be going sub-aqua.
All right, it's party time.
All right, Request Fest randomizer. You guys ready?
Go for it.
All right, here we go.
This is hilarious. Okay, this letter says, "Hey guys, I heard that if your car tires are slightly deflated, only by a few PSI, your fuel efficiency could tail off massively. I drive a lot, so I'd really like to know if that's true.
Yeah, we get this one a lot. But you know, that's only half the story. Yes, there are some people that say if you have lower pressure, you get lower mileage. But there are other people who say if you overinflate, you get better mileage.
A fuel efficiency myth, I love it.
Everybody loves to save money.
It seems that where saving a cent in the car is concerned, our carbon footprint conscious audience have a never-ending supply of fuel efficiency myths. In the team's latest quest to satisfy your requests, they'll be finding out if underinflated tires really do inflate your fuel bill.
All right, well, why don't we do this? We'll take a car, we bypass the fuel tank, we'll install our own fuel cell, one that we can remove and weigh so that way we know exactly how much fuel we're using during these tests.
Sounds great.
And then we do 3 tests. Obviously, we start with the control at the right pressure, and then we move on to underpressured and overpressured.
And this being Mythbusters, we're gonna have to try super low pressure and super high pressure.
Oh, yeah.
So to test the randomly selected viewer request, the team demobbed to a remote location where the designated driver is Karen.
Man, it's a good thing we're doing this experiment out here, especially with your driving.
Yeah, nothing but cows.
Nothing for me to hit. We've come to this abandoned naval base so we can test our tire pressure fuel efficiency myth. We're going to lay out a track, drive it 5 different times, exactly the same, with 5 different tire pressures, and see if tire pressure really does have an effect on your fuel efficiency.
Now, when we get down to actually driving the car, we can't just go crazy out there. We have to have a very specific route. We have to drive the same route every time at the same speed in the exact same way. And what's more, the weight of the car cannot change between tests. That's the only way we'll be able to compare our results.
Okay, this is fuel efficiency, tire pressure. We're going to start out with our control test, 35 PSI, which is the manufacturer's recommended pressure.
All right, let's get to driving.
Okay.
In charge of making sure Carrie adheres to the meticulously planned course is backseat driver Imahara.
All right, the stop sign coming up, you're going to stop and hold for 10 seconds.
Each of the requisite stops and periods of acceleration are carefully timed to ensure consistency between the runs. And with the control complete, the guys whip out the fuel cell, weigh it, and crunch the crucial numbers.
All right, so that is 8,916 grams.
Okay, well, let's take it down to 10 PSI and do the test again.
The next 2 tests will be at the extreme ends of the tire pressure spectrum.
Okay, here we go.
Underinflated at 10 PSI, the handling is adversely affected.
We are now at 50, and it actually feels a little squirrely.
But the team complete the identical circuit safely and move on to the extreme overinflated test, 60 PSI.
Hit it.
Overinflation to this degree is obviously not recommended. In addition to risking a dangerous blowout, the tires will wear unevenly. But according to some fans, it's supposedly more fuel efficient.
Now, I get the reasoning behind this. It makes sense. Okay, so you fill your tire to 60 PSI, you're getting less contact with the road because the tire is bulging. There's less of a footprint there. You're getting less rolling resistance, and therefore, you're possibly getting better fuel efficiency.
That's the theory, but the number crunching will have to wait, because on the next 2 tests, the guys are working within real-world parameters of 15% above and below the control.
I feel like we've been here before.
Let's get to the results.
Okay, what do we got?
Okay, so for the plus 15% overinflated tires at 40 PSI, we consumed 6.2% less fuel.
Makes sense.
And in the case of the 15% underinflated at 30 PSI, we consumed 1.2% more fuel.
And confirming the myth, the numbers for the extreme tests are even more extreme. Basically, flat tires increase friction and therefore increase fuel consumption. But when it comes to saving money, the raw numbers don't tell the whole story. And here's why.
So what we're finding with the underinflated tires is that we're consuming more fuel. And this makes sense when you consider the tire contact patch, which is the actual surface area of the tire that makes contact with the road. And when the tires are underinflated, the contact patch is larger, which increases the rolling resistance, increases the friction, and makes it harder for the engine to move the car.
But if you really break this down to saving money, Well, in a year, you drive 10,000 miles, you're only saving about $76. Now, if you weigh that against the fact that you might get a blowout and put your life in danger, you're not actually saving anything at all.
So drive around with your tires inflated to the recommended air pressure. That's your best bet.
This is the fan-inspired Request Fest special. And Agent Hyneman, wearing his tuxedo underneath his dive suit, is on his way to gate crash a boat party.
Let's recap. The myth is that a secret agent could scuba dive to a formal party in a tuxedo. That's right, wearing a tuxedo under the water, arrive, take off his scuba gear, and attract no attention at all. No one would be any the wiser. So, in order to test this, I'm the control. I am here on this boat, having dressed myself above decks, while James Franklin Hyneman, the secret agent, is currently scuba diving here under the water. When he arrives, he'll take off his gear, and we will have both of our tuxes assessed to see if they pass muster. Any minute now.
And the challenge Jamie's facing is a spy-worthy 40-minute swim at a maximum depth of 60 feet, covering almost a mile. A tough task for an unrumpled tux. One Adam thinks is beyond Jamie.
While Mr. Hyneman has 5,000 some odd dives under his belt, I will wager this is a first for him, and I will further wager that it's not going to work very well. I think he's going to come out of the water, and his tux is going to look like not only did he spend 3 days in the rain in it, but he slept in it every single night.
Right on cue, our man of action surfaces and slips out of his dive suit. And incredibly, the initial impression is Agent Hyneman is not just completely dry in terms of seawater and sweat, but unflustered and suitably dapper.
Mighty respectable. I'm blown away. Your suit looks fantastic. I gotta say, this story falls into the realm of the "Are elephants afraid of mice" category. I thought we'd throw Jamie in some scuba gear, throw him underwater, and he'd come up and we'd laugh about how horrifying his tuxedo looked. But honestly, he looks fantastic. He's not only dry as a bone, but I have a hard time finding anything wrong with this entire getup.
But the final decision is down to the keen eye of our style guy.
All right, well then the million-dollar question is, would Jamie pass muster at a formal gathering?
I would say absolutely. Absolutely.
Confirmed it is. Nicely done, Agent Hyneman. Thank you, Bertrand.
You're very welcome.
All right, let's crash a party.
Absolutely.
Well, the dry suit did its job. It kept me dry. In fact, I'm a little too dry right now. I think I'll go have a martini. To science.
To science.
Okay, randomizer, give us something good. Okay. Hi guys, in the past you've done shows about whether certain everyday items are bulletproof or not. Well, I've got 3 more for you that I've read about recently. 1, a hair weave.
What?
2, a laptop. And 3, a fridge door.
Okay, now that is random.
Wait. He has also got some links to the relevant newspaper articles.
All right, why don't we look at those links? We'll collect the ingredients and go out to the gun range.
Perfect.
This is gonna be fun.
Thank you, Tom Kenny of New Hampshire.
Yep, thanks to our eagle-eyed viewer, the team will lock, load, and take aim at these 3 separate claims. Will a spray of 9mm rounds really be stopped stone cold by a fridge? Is it possible a hair weave would stop a .40 caliber pistol dead in its tracks? And could your laptop really block a point-blank blast from a shotgun?
All right, let's start shooting stuff.
One of our favorite places to come. And we have all of our targets laid out right here. Laptop cases, wigs, weaves, laptops, and of course, the firepower, a shotgun and a .40 caliber pistol. This should be a fun day.
And first to face the firing squad of truth is the laptop. Here's Grant with the setup.
First case.
Now, the details of this myth are a little sketchy, but what we do know is that it's from 4 or 5 years ago. So we've got a best-selling laptop from 4 or 5 years ago. Putting it inside of this average briefcase, we're gonna fire at it from 3 to 4 feet, point-blank range. And if it penetrates this and goes into the ballistics gel, we know that this is not bulletproof.
All right, ready to load?
Lock and load, baby. So we are about to fire birdshot from a 12-gauge shotgun into this computer at point-blank range to find out if this is bulletproof. Fire when ready. My feeling is we just don't have enough space to allow that birdshot to spread out. So it's gonna be coming out in one large mass, and I think it's gonna punch a hole right through this computer.
In 3, 2, 1.
Unfortunately for our ballistics gel victim, Tori's prediction, like Carrie's shooting, was dead on.
That went right through the laptop and destroyed the ballistics gel.
And it's not all that surprising. Laptops are designed to be portable, and most of the components are fairly lightweight, except for one.
Gonna try aiming for the battery?
All right, this time I'm aiming for the battery.
But will that make a difference to the 12-gauge shotgun, firing birdshot at 1,200 feet per second?
In 3, 2, 1.
What?
What? What just happened?
We may have stopped the birdshot.
You kidding me? No.
No way.
No.
Way. Incredibly, in complete contrast to the first test, the ballistics gel was spared.
There is no exit wounds on the bag. I mean, if you had the computer in the right position when the guy fired the shotgun, you would probably stop those birdshots.
I'll tell you what, the results from this are extremely surprising. I mean, we are at really close range with a 12-gauge shotgun. Hits the battery, you live. Knocks the wind out of you, but once you recover, you need to get up and go buy yourself a lottery ticket, because this is a very lucky day for you.
If you hit the battery, your computer is bulletproof. That's incredible.
Okay, well, you have to be incredibly lucky, but this one's plausible.
Totally plausible.
Plausible. That is awesome.
All right, my turn. Dear Mythbusters, my granny loved the episode with the sneezes. But can you please tell us the safest way to sneeze without spreading germs? Sincerely, Thomas. I think we can totally do that.
Yeah, we can do that.
The Mythbusters have sneezed for science before, which made for some rather unpleasant viewing.
Oh, there's a little silvery booger there too, right on this big old stash.
So remember, you've been warned.
Now we're going to be testing some techniques for stopping sneezes from spreading their wares, their germs, their bacteria, and that's what this rig is set up to test. Jamie and I will wear white suits, like I'm wearing now, and stand here at the apex, and we will sneeze. Of course, our mouths will be filled with colored liquid like before. We're going to try and prevent the spread of that sneeze with 3 different methods. 1, open hand, Hatsoo! 2, into the elbow, Hatsoo! And 3, something no gentleman should be without, a handkerchief. Hatsoo! We're gonna be looking at our suits and on the floor to see which one works the best.
And first up for our connoisseurs of colds is the hand-over-mouth technique.
All right, sneezing into the open hand. I'm predicting this is gonna be kind of a horror show.
A swig and a sniff later.
That's one.
Yeah. Oh, there's another one coming.
For each style, they're going to unleash a sample of 3 sneezes.
Oh, it looks horrible, doesn't it? I look like a vampire. Ah!
Adam's face is a picture, but it's the canvas that tells the real story.
I see spots up to 8 feet away, dude.
Yeah, it did spread quite a lot, but there's a lot of markings here. So I'd say single hand, not so good.
Yeah, not so good.
Not so good, and then some. Even with his hand directly in front of the oncoming sneeze, Adam can't begin to contain the explosion.
Now, I'm pretty clear that sneezing into your hand is meant as a courtesy to those around you to keep from spreading your germs onto them. And as far as I can see, it's quite effective at doing exactly the opposite. I noticed there's almost no red dye on me at all, and crap loads all around me. If I was on a subway, I'm Typhoid Mary.
With the hand getting the thumbs down, can the elbow do any better? To find out, it's over to Jamie, and he'll be sneezing in green.
Now, we wait for the sneeze to take effect on Jamie's Hoosier nose. Slowly, it irritates the cilia inside.
And with the cilia salivating, one down, 2 to go.
I think I'm starting to like this stuff.
3 sneezes. Awesome.
3 sneezes later, and the results are very impressive.
Yeah, I see only 2 droplets and 1 on your shoe, and let's look at your elbow here. That's totally localized to you, man.
And you know what? It's all on my arm and not on my hand, so I'm not as likely to spread it around.
Yeah, doubly effective.
Hands down, the elbow is a highly effective technique, with virtually the entire sneeze contained on each of Jamie's sneezes. But can the humble hanky do better still? Well, it's back to Adam, and for this final test, he's sneezing in blue.
Here we go. Oh. Oh. How did we do? I see a tiny, 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 tiny dot of blue there.
At first, it seems like the hanky may be victorious, until...
I see some on the hanky.
And look, it's penetrated all the way to both sides.
It's penetrated both sides, and perhaps most damningly, whoo, it's on my hands, ready to spread to the next person whose hand I shake.
The sneeze seeped through the hanky, contaminating Adam's hand, making it a pretty poor technique. And it gets worse.
Let me make one more thing clear about this hanky I'm holding here. Imagine, achoo, 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 you sneezing it all day long, and you keep on putting it in your pocket and pulling it back out, giving people change from your pocket, handing them your pen, handing them your phone, talking on your phone, spreading germs. Yeah, it's not just a Rorschach test, it's a petri dish.
Although the droplets were contained, the hand exposure means the hanky has hit the skids.
So, this flu season, which method are you gonna use? The hand, the elbow, or the handkerchief?
It's got to be the elbow.
I totally agree, it's the elbow.
So now you know.
Carrie, Grant, and Tori are tackling a trio of ballistic tall tales. They've already got proof a laptop could be bulletproof. Next, they're tackling the widely reported story that hair extensions could extend your life.
We look like a pretty strange family.
We are a strange family.
Woohoo! Since our bulletproof hair weave myth was ripped straight from the headlines, we're lucky enough to have a few details. 1, we know they used a .40 caliber pistol. 2, they were 8 to 10 feet away. And 3, we know they shot through the back window of the driver's side. So, sounds a little crazy to me, but I guess we'll see if a hair weave can stop a bullet.
But before they recreate the whole scenario, the obligatory control.
What we're gonna do right now is a control test, just to find out if this hair weave is in fact bulletproof. In 3, we have a wig with a hair weave in it on top of a block of ballistics gel. 2, I'm gonna fire at it with this .40 caliber. If it passes through that hair weave and into the ballistics gel, that's a lethal shot, and this hair weave is not bulletproof. 1.
Wow!
Good shot.
Whoa, Tori, look at that. You split a bobby pin right down the middle, so not only did you hit weave, you hit a little bit of metal.
Well, obviously, as expected, the hair weave had absolutely no bulletproofing ability whatsoever.
Yeah, but you gotta remember, there were other variables to this myth. I mean, she was sitting in a car, so that bullet's gonna be passing through a window, maybe a headrest. That's definitely gonna slow the bullet down, maybe enough that when it hits the hair weave, it stops.
All right, onto the car.
Tori's suggesting the additional layers of protection provided by the headrest and rear windshield could mean that although the weave is not bulletproof on its own, it could act as the last line of defense. But Grant doesn't think it'll make any difference at all.
My guess, this is more than enough firepower to make it through a windshield, through a headrest, through a hair weave, and ultimately through the rest of a dummy.
Here we go in 3, 2, 1.
All right, let's go check it out.
Inside the car, it's not long before the all too damning evidence is discovered.
Oh, it actually went through her head. It pulled the hair weave through her head.
No way!
Well, one thing's for sure, hair weave is not bulletproof.
Okay, this is amazing. Check out this evidence. Right here, the bullet goes in through the weave. You'll notice it pulls the weave through the head and brings the weave with the bullet out the other side. This is very busted. This is not a bulletproof weave. And it went through the back window, the headrest, and then into the weave. It's busted.
Clearly, the tempered glass windshield, protective headrest, and hair weave are no match for a round from a .40 caliber handgun. But the woman was shot at and did find the bullet in her weave. So what happened?
This myth seems somewhat suspect to me from the beginning. I mean, if I can ram my finger through the hair weave, a bullet is gonna go through it, especially a direct hit. Now, I'm sure the woman did find a bullet tangled up in her hair. I'm just thinking maybe something else happened.
Yeah.
Or maybe a ricochet landed back in her hair weave and she thought that's what saved her.
Yep, the likeliest scenario is the bullet ricocheted around inside the car before winding up in the weave of the intended victim. But however it happened, there is only one outcome for the myth.
Now, on the surface, it might seem like this could be plausible. I mean, bulletproof vests are made out of a woven material. A hair weave is made out of woven hair. The difference is that a bulletproof vest is woven out of Kevlar, a synthetic material that's much stronger than human hair. At 990 feet per second, a bullet traveling along, we found that it went through not only one, but 2 windshields, 5 inches of hair, and the head. You know what? This one is busted.
What could be next?
Well, let's see. Dear Mythbusters, I've often heard people refer to something they think is easy as being like taking candy from a baby. Here's what I want to know. Is it really that easy to take candy from a baby? Regards, Childless in Ohio.
I've kind of wondered about that myself.
And it's just like you to wonder that.
It's a familiar phrase that supposedly illustrates a simple and easily achievable task. The idea being that the baby is defenseless in the face of mean, mustachioed candy grabbers. But Howard, Jamie, and Adam, once he's had a timeout, going to test it.
So how are we going to measure how difficult it is to take candy from a baby? Well, the first thing that comes to mind for me is grip strength. There we go, that's what I'm looking for. And to measure that, I figure we'll need to design some kind of a device that grabs the candy and then can record how much force it takes to pull that candy out of the baby's hand. Little tiny candy grabber.
So the guys are going to reduce the myth to a single quantifiable measurement, grip strength.
Oh, look at that.
And with a force gauge attached to Jamie's candy-grabbing animatronic arm, they can do just that.
Basically, each of the babies, ranging in age from 6 to 18 months, will be given candy, and then Jamie will see how much force is required to take that candy from their sticky, supposedly helpless little hands. What do you think? Think it's a good height for grabbing?
Seems about right.
Well, so if we're going to test this thing on some real babies, we should get a baseline. How easy it is to pick up candy.
Is that why you have that thing?
Yeah, I found this kid in one of your boxes labeled babies up there and thought we just place a lollipop on his chest, you pick it up. What could be easier than that?
Okay.
He won't give you any resistance, will he?
As it turns out, not much at all.
Got it. 0.08.
0.08 of a pound.
Yeah.
All right, so that's our baseline. That is the easiest possible thing to do just to pick up the lollipop.
Yeah.
Anything we get more than that is resistance from a nasty little baby.
Cue the first baby.
Hello?
Hi.
You're
How are
Lily?
you? I'm Lily.
And this is
Cole.
Our first test subject, Cole here, is just 6 months old. And with a little prompting from Adam, he soon grabs hold of the sweet stuff.
That's it. Yes, exactly. All right, Mr. Hyneman, it's all yours.
Okay, Cole, get ready to surrender your candy. What do you think of that? Oh. Wow. 3.16 pounds.
nice work, strong like bull.
3.16 pounds is a huge 40 times increase on the control, and an indication that this myth might not be as straightforward as it appeared.
Bring in the next baby.
A theory compounded by the next subject, 10-month-old Ruby.
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
Okay.
That's some good stuff. Are you scaring her with your robot arm?
That seems to be the problem. That and the fact that Jamie is trying to steal her candy.
Oh, what's that?
With Ruby obviously uncomfortable, the team decides to move on. But it should be noted that by utilizing her key baby power, crying, Jamie failed to relieve her of the candy. Maybe it's not so easy after all. It's the final installment of the Request Fest Bulletproof myth. One of our viewers led us to this story. When it kicked off in the kitchen, our lucky survivor hid behind a fridge door, which supposedly proved impenetrable to several 9mm rounds.
All right, who's signing for these refrigerators?
So why would a refrigerator door possibly be a good shield against bullets? Well, there is rolled steel throughout this door. You can tell because you can put a magnet on it. So it might be able to stop the bullet or at least slow it down so you won't get hurt. Yep, that's good, right there. It's good.
And to give the myth the seal of bachelor authenticity, Tori has brought the entire contents of his fridge.
This one doesn't have any mold, so that's still good. I think this is pesto, or I don't know, maybe it's just turned green.
Of course, it's not entirely realistic, but a shelf full of jars and canned goods will give the myth the best chance possible.
Okay, this is Bulletproof fridge door in 3, 2, 1.
Nice shooting, Tex. Good. Now, I saw stuff flying. I don't know about you guys, but I don't think there's anything bulletproof about that refrigerator.
Well, I'm not hiding behind a refrigerator next time I'm in a gunfight, okay?
Let's go take a look.
check it, yeah.
Oh!
That's crazy.
I would have to say those are lethal shots.
Yeah, check this out. Plastic from the door. Now that looks painful.
Not just painful, lethal. The ballistics gel is riddled with 9mm rounds, plastic shrapnel, glass shrapnel, and mustard, leaving the myth busted. But the guys aren't giving up just yet.
The metal in the door is pretty thin. Is that all there is to this door? Some metal and a little bit of plastic?
I think it's just the cover here.
Yeah, but you know what? The older fridge might have thicker gauge steel and multiple layers of it.
All right, let's move on to the older refrigerator.
Yep, they're going old school cool with a fridge from the 50s.
This thing is gorgeous. What a shame.
But more important than the design aesthetic is its mass.
Oh my goodness.
This is very, very heavy, which I think is a good sign.
Yeah, this thing is solid. So why might this old refrigerator be a good choice for a bulletproof shield? Well, modern refrigerators have thin gauge steel and plastic, but when this was made, they didn't have all that. They had this, steel, and a lot of it. Now we know that this fridge is double walled. You've got at least 2 layers, and hopefully that's fairly thick gauge steel. That's what my money's on.
We've added condiments to the door, not because we think it's gonna slow down the bullet, because it looks fabulous on high speed. What we're counting on here is that we have a higher tensile strength of the steel of this door, hoping it's a lot thicker. Now, tensile strength basically just means the ability to stretch or bend without fracturing. So I'm thinking this door is gonna have a lot better chance than the refrigerator before.
All right, this is old-fashioned refrigerator door versus 9mm. Here we go, in 3, 2, 1.
Looks like it went through.
Yeah, I think so.
Damn.
Yep, the evidence has cooled the team's optimism. The old-fashioned fridge, like the modern one, has clearly failed on the bulletproof front.
Now that is a shot. Look, through the door, through the condiments, and hitting the aluminum bar.
These doors are not stopping these bullets. Those were 9mm rounds. I mean, they weren't even magnets, and they still passed right through.
I thought we had some hope here, but this is all busted.
Gotta say it's busted.
Totally busted.
We ruined a fridge for nothing. So, it doesn't take a bullet, but do you think you could survive a nuclear blast in one of those?
Yeah, everybody knows that.
It's your turn.
All right, spin it up.
All right, randomizing.
Okay.
All right. This one says, I know you like beer, so you'll like this one. I've seen a video of a guy taking a beer bottle out of a freezer, and the beer is in liquid form. He bangs it on a countertop, and the beer instantly freezes. Is this true? If so, what's going on?
I've definitely heard this one.
All right, well, let's get some beer in a freezer and go for it.
There are a number of instant beer freeze viral videos doing the cyberspace rounds. And supposedly, if you leave a bottle of beer in the freezer for a while, then give it a short, sharp shock, hey presto, you get an instant frozen beer. It's a challenge the guys can't resist.
We're at the Mythbusters lab. To test the internet instant frozen beer myth, first we're going to need
Beer. And furthermore, it has to be in a glass container and at the right temperature.
And then we'll take the bottles of beer, stick them in the freezer for different amounts of time to see exactly how long it takes to get an instant beer freeze.
With varying reports on the duration and temperature required for successful insta-freezing, the guys are covering their bases.
and experiment begins. A little bit of internet research has told us that the butter zone for the super cool instant frozen beer myth is about 2 hours. But since every freezer is different, we're gonna do a little experiment with this one. We have 4 beers in the freezer. We're gonna take them out at different intervals and see if we found the perfect time formula for, boom, frozen beer.
With the clock ticking, the team used the time constructively by researching the potential theories behind the myth.
So there are a number of different theories as to exactly why this phenomena happens. One of them is that the beer has to be just on the edge of freezing, and by adding kinetic energy in the form of a shock, it causes bubbles to form rapidly, and that takes out just enough temperature to cause the beer to freeze instantly. It's 5 o'clock somewhere in the world.
Another theory is supercooling. That is when the beer is in its liquid state, but its temperature is below its freezing temperature. Once the beer is agitated, it disturbs the molecules, creating nucleation sites. That allows ice crystals to form. Those ice crystals have more surfaces for more ice crystals to form, creating a cascading effect that will solidly freeze this beer.
Both of those theories depend on the beer being at or below its freezing point,
All right, it is time to pull the first beer.
which is somewhere around 32 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay, beer number 1, 2 hours.
All right, smack it.
You ready?
Wow, I think you broke the beer.
You almost smashed the bottle.
All right, should we check the thermal camera?
Yeah.
Okay, I have 44.1 degrees.
That's not even close to being freezing. We gotta leave it in there longer.
Okay, next beer. Let's wait for the next interval.
With the time-lapse time machine in full effect, it's time for the next test.
You guys ready for 2.5 hours?
Yep, smack it.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
But the mythical instant beer freeze is proving elusive.
Thermal camera is reading 39 degrees. Still not cold enough.
And even at 2 hours and 45 minutes, with the beer right at its supposed freezing point,
Okay, we're actually at 32 degrees, so this might work.
All right,
At freezing, right?
you ready to smack it?
Yeah, let's do it.
there's still no sign, which rules out Grant's theory that, on the point of freezing, the formation of bubbles suddenly reduces the temperature and a tipping point is reached.
All right, this beer has been in the freezer for 3 hours.
Okay, let's see what we got. Okay, 31 degrees.
Which is promising, because this will be the first test with a still liquid beer below its freezing point.
All right, hit it.
Okay, here we go. Ready?
Yep.
There it goes.
Look at how well that works. Instant ice crystal.
Instant frozen beer. It works.
Look at that. Man, you could really freak some friends out with this one.
What a great party trick, right?
Yeah, totally.
Watching the beer go from liquid to solid is really, really beautiful because it just grows like those little sand crystals that you used to have when you were a kid, and it just fills the bottle up. It's one of those really cool experiments because anybody can do it. You can do it at home. It doesn't need explosives or professionals around. It's just a beer.
Yep, it's simple, satisfying, try-at-home science. And Carrie knows why.
So it looks like the winning theory here is supercooling. We have the beer at its liquid form, but the temperature is just below freezing. When you agitate the beer, the water molecules are disturbed, ice crystals start to form on nucleation sites, which create more ice crystals, which create more ice crystals, cascading, creating a slushy beer. Well, it works. That's one for the internet.
That's cool.
Well, does it have to be beer? I wonder if this works with other things.
And in a blur of beverage bashing,
Carbonated lemonade.
the team satisfies its curiosity by trying a whole range of soft drinks.
Cool.
Guess it doesn't have to be beer.
Okay, so we've been through all the combinations, and what we found to get your own instantly frozen beverage is really interesting. Number one, it doesn't have to be beer. It can be a carbonated fruit drink.
I want that. That looks delicious.
It doesn't even have to be carbonated. It could be a non-carbonated sports drink, and it will still work. It doesn't have to be in a glass container. It can be in a plastic container.
Wow.
Pretty cool. Now, what we found for all these beverages is they have different individual freezing temperatures. The key is that we're supercooling them. We're getting them to lower than their freezing temperature, which is somewhere around 27 to 34 degrees. If you do that and you hit it, you have instant frozen beverage.
So it looks like this one's confirmed for a lot of things.
Yeah, as long as the drink is at the right temperature, you hit it with enough force, you'll get an instant freeze.
And it doesn't even have to be a beer, and it doesn't have to be in a glass container. That's amazing.
So what are we gonna do with all this experimental beer and slushy drink we've got?
I got an idea.
Yeah.
Adam and Jamie are tackling the viewer-requested mini-myth that taking candy from a baby is really as easy as the idiom implies.
Let's get another baby.
All right, the next baby!
Meet Annika, and at 14 months, she appears to have a candy retention skill that the younger kids don't have: evasion.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Oh, she's crafty. Monica, you're being excellent test subject. Yeah, she's totally chill. You are doing great.
Good job, Annika.
We're encountering resistance from these babies in the form of evasion. They're not being as docile as we had hoped, and they are holding the lollipop away from Jamie's test equipment. These babies are crafty, but I think we can outsmart them.
She wants to hold on to it. Oh.
But as it turns out, round here, the babies are smarter than the TV hosts, because Annika decides to pull out the biggest gun in the baby arsenal.
Nope, now she sees you.
Guilt.
You've gone and scared her. Oh. I think we have to give her a little while here.
I think
so. Oh,
so.
sweetie, it's totally okay. It's totally okay.
With Adam and Jamie on the back foot and Annika still in possession of the candy, the guys are forced into a change of tactics.
There we go. Looks like a charm. Given that the babies don't seem to like this mechanical thing coming in close to them, I've tied a string on it to be able to remove the candy more remotely and yet get the same grip strength measurement.
And once Annika gets a good hold, her and Jamie begin a tug of war.
Take it. Oh, ooh, ooh. She's like, the candy's leaving me. What's going on? Keep on, keep on.
1.08 pounds.
Oh. Oh, she doesn't want to let go. Oh, sweetie. Jamie, keep taking it. Come on. Okay, I think she's done. Oh, sweetie.
Hey, don't take my candy.
That was very well done. I feel terrible.
Well, at every stage, these clever babies are vexing us. Not only is it clear they want to hold on to their candy and they don't like Jamie's robotic grabber arm, which who would, but they cry when you take the candy away from them. I wasn't prepared for how difficult that would be to hear.
Say, give me my candy back.
Oh, there you go, sweetie. There you go. There you go. I'm very sorry.
So Adam and Jamie were successful with a force reading of 1.08 pounds, but guilt-ridden, which means it's time for the final test. Frankie.
Our 18-month-old baby was a little bit difficult at first. She was a little shy, took a little time to acclimatize to the crew, the big camera, the microphone. But once we got her out of the chair, which she definitely didn't like, and into her mom's arms, she actually warmed up a fair degree.
I think we're close.
Okay, here I go.
Willing to take a lick of the lollipop, liked it a lot, didn't want to let go of it, gave us a pretty good reading.
Uh-oh. Oh, my goodness.
Uh-oh, it's like fishing.
Oh, I got a reading. 1.79.
Oh, oh.
Oh, lollipop broke.
Give a high five. Awesome.
I got a reading.
That's a result.
And that's a wrap.
Bye, Frankie.
Bye-bye.
Which means it's time to ponder the results.
While the youngest baby registered more grip strength, the older babies seemed more inclined to use strategy to resist, and they wouldn't even let me get a hold of the candy in the first place.
There you go, yeah.
So, what according to the myth should have been a simple task, the easiest task of all, simply wasn't. Evasion and guilt strategies made it tricky and at times very difficult.
I feel terrible.
But ultimately, the experiment was designed and executed to compare grip strength. So the final result comes down to the numbers.
So where does that leave us? Well, if you remember our control, it took 0.08 pounds of force to just lift our candy. When you average the grip strength across all the babies we tested, it came in at a shade over 2 pounds of force to take the candy from them. That means that it was 25 times more difficult to take candy from the babies than it was to just pick it up. And that, to me, says that this myth is thoroughly busted. What do you think?
I agree. Now get out of the stroller and give me my monkey back.